Gilded Age Season 3 Episode 8 trailer. Let me ask you something that's gonna haunt every single Gilded Age fan until the finale drops. What if George Russell doesn't survive? I mean, did you see that ending? Just when it looked like the Empire was saved, when he finally turned the tide binge. A gunshot, no face, no warning. Just the sound of someone trying to erase a titan. Now pause. Seriously, pause. What if the villain isn't who we think? What if everything we believed about the Russell family's power and safety was a lie? Because I'll be honest, this is not the Gilded Age I thought I signed up for. This isn't just tea and corsets and scandals whispered in drawing rooms anymore. This is WoW. And here's the wild part. I had a dream this week that Bertha Russell was behind the whole thing. Don't laugh. I swear, she had the same cold stare she gave Ward McAllister when she said, "There are rules, even for you." Except this time, the rule was no survivors. But I'll tell you more about that in a second, because we need to talk about what the trailer for episode 8 is really showing us, and what it's hiding. And yes, we're going deep. Like, secrets buried beneath the ballroom deep. Like, why did Marion burn that letter? Deep. Like, who pulled the trigger and why does it tie all the way back to season 1? You ready? Then hit subscribe right now, because if you're even slightly obsessed with the Gilded Age like I am, Breakdown Epic is where we unlock every shocking twist and forbidden backstory this series tries to hide. Don't be the last to know. Let's go. So let's go back to the shot heard around Newport. George Russell. George Russell finally stabilizes his fragile business empire thanks to Larry pulling off a miracle in Morency. I mean, can we take a second to appreciate Larry stepping up like an unexpected MVP? Man's been in the shadows of his parents for 2.5 seasons, and now he's out here saving fortunes. And what does George get for it? A bullet. Now there are only 3 types of people in the Gilded Age who shoot without blinking: a desperate rival, a betrayed ally, or someone who thinks they're cleaning up society. And let me just say, the trailer is doing a masterful job at hiding the real killer. But if you rewatch the footage in slow motion, like I did at 3 a.m., with my tea and emotional support blanket, you'll notice something that should terrify us all: the shadows. They're too familiar. Someone's been in that house before, and that means the person behind the gun isn't just some random business rival. This is personal. This is intimate. You don't walk into a Russell home with a weapon, unless you've already been inside, with trust. So who's the snake in the garden? Let's talk secrets. The kind they bury beneath 5 layers of lace and politeness. Because guess what? John Adams is dead. And you think that's just coincidence? No. His death wasn't a standalone tragedy. It was a warning shot. We now know his interactions with Oscar Van Rugen weren't as harmless as we once thought. There's something deeper going on there. And if someone wanted to send a message, what better way than removing a side piece and a main player back to back? The symmetry is chilling. Now here's the forbidden knowledge they don't want us to notice. George Russell's business dealings didn't just make him enemies on Wall Street. He made enemies in his own family. Yes, I said it. Let's talk about Bertha. Because Bertha has been slowly unraveling this season. Between forcing Gladys into marrying the Duke and manipulating Larry's every move, she's become ruthless. But the moment that told me something darker was coming, when Larry implied that his mother may have interfered in his relationship with Marion. That wasn't a throwaway line. That was a confession, masked in guilt and pain. So I ask you, is it really so unthinkable that Bertha might have orchestrated a shooting to protect her empire? Think about it. Who benefits if George falls? Who gains full control of the family name, the money, the legacy? It's not crazy, it's strategy. And trust me, Bertha Russell is not above strategy. Alright, now let's pull you into this, because I need answers, and I know my Breakdown Epic fam is full of wild theories. Drop a comment right now. Who do you think pulled the trigger? A. Bertha. B. A betrayed investor C. Clay, returning with revenge. D. Astor's secret lover. Yes, I threw that last one in there because at this point, nothing is off the table. I mean, Lady Whistledown would be taking notes on this season. And while you're at it, remember when I said in episode 5 that Oscar's drama was going to spiral into something catastrophic? Yeah, I'd like my psychic badge now, please. And if you missed that video, you better go watch it after this one. Because trust me, we've been tracking the clues all season. Also, if you've ever broken off an engagement over a rumor like Marion did, please message me. I have so many questions. Like, do you also write letters instead of texts? Do you also self-sabotage in period drama fashion? Just kidding. Kind of. Let's talk about Marion. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm frustrated. She had everything with Larry. Chemistry, loyalty, a literal engagement ring. And what does she do? She hears Owen rumor about him going to Haymarket and throws the whole relationship in the trash. Didn't even hear his side. Just poof, gone. Like the whole first half of the season meant nothing. I can't even be mad at Larry for being distant now. I'd be crying into my velvet waistcoat too. But here's the forbidden part no one wants to say. Maybe Marion doesn't want to be happy. Maybe she's comfortable in chaos, in grief, in punishing herself for being different than the society women she pretends to fit in with. And Bertha, she knows that. She sees the weakness. She exploits it. Which brings me to my next theory. And it's gonna blow your mind. Here's what's bothering me. Everyone thinks Bertha Russell is just a social climber. But what if she's more than that? What if she's actually the show's secret villain? Don't roll your eyes. I'm serious. Let's rewind. Every time Bertha has lost something, Be it respect, status, or control, someone mysteriously disappears from society. Turner, gone. Ward McAllister, excommunicated. Marion and Larry's relationship, sabotaged. And now, George Russell is, well, we don't know if he's dead, but we do know someone fired a gun. What if all this time we've been looking in the wrong direction, blaming George for being too cold, blaming Marion for being too naive? But Bertha, she's been playing chess while the rest of New York's been sipping tea. Let's pivot to Ward McAllister, the man, the myth, the dramatic downfall. He wrote a book spilling high society secrets, thinking he'd be applauded. Instead, they practically burned his wig at the stake. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Sophia, that was based on real history. Yes, but history can lead, and the Gilded Age loves to remix it. So ask yourself, why now? Why did Ward choose this moment to release the book? Could it be because someone encouraged him to? And then, once he served his purpose, distracting the press, stirring up scandal, he was dumped like last season's gowns. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? That's Bertha's signature move. Use, replace, destroy, even if that person used to be her closest ally. And let's not forget, Bertha tried to save him, but only when it was too late. That's called reputation management, not loyalty. But what's most tragic about Bertha? Her own family doesn't trust her anymore. Not George, not Larry, and certainly not Gladys, who, let's be honest, has become a walking help mess sign since being railroaded into that marriage. Let me paint the scene for you. Imagine walking through your mansion, gilded from floor to ceiling, chandeliers sparkling, dresses trailing, staff bowing, and yet no one loves you. Because that's Bertha now. She's rich, powerful, untouchable. But she's also completely utterly alone. It's giving Regina George post-bus incident energy, and it might be poetic justice, sure, but it's also tragic. Because Bertha used to fight for her family, now she fights against them. For power, for validation, for something even she can't name anymore. And maybe, just maybe, she orchestrated the hit on George to scare him back into place. And if not Bertha, then who? Let's explore some suspects. Let's play detective. We've got suspects, and some are wearing metaphorical gloves. 1. Richard Clay. He humiliated George in episode 6. That kind of corporate betrayal doesn't go unpunished, especially not in a world where contracts are written in both ink and blood. 2. A forgotten lover. Listen, we don't talk enough about how many secrets these gentlemen are hiding. What if this wasn't business, but something emotional? Someone cheated on, lied to, abandoned. Who says the bullets had to be over money? 3. Oscar Van Ridgen or his new companion. Oscar's storyline has taken a very dark turn. First John Adams dies, then George gets shot. 2 degrees of separation is too close. What if Oscar's lover is playing a game of revenge, and Oscar doesn't even know? 4. Bertha's butler. Okay, this one's wild, but hear me out. If Bertha told someone to handle it, who's more loyal than the help? They see everything, they hear everything, and they don't get thanked for anything. And let's be real. Downton Abbey taught us that butlers are not always neutral parties. Meanwhile, over in storyline 82, Peggy's being emotionally assassinated again. Remember when Peggy lost her baby in season 1? Now Elizabeth Kirkland is using that trauma as ammo to try and destroy Peggy's engagement to her son William. I cannot stress enough how evil this woman is. Mrs. Kirkland gives Karen at the country club energy turned up to 100. She's not just classist, she's colorist, she's elitist, she's a historical stereotype wrapped in lace. But here's the gag she's losing. Because William Kirkland, he's got eyes, and ears, and brains. He sees his mother for who she is. And he's not going to back down without a fight. So here's a little hypothetical for you. What if Peggy becomes the new matriarch of society? Despite Elizabeth's sabotage, imagine her at the top, not in spite of her past, but because of it. Tell me you wouldn't tune in just to see Elizabeth's face crumble when Peggy walks into the ballroom with her head held high and the society women standing up one by one. Because I would. I'd live stream it. In HD. Okay, back to Marion. Here's my bold, spicy, maybe unpopular opinion. Marion is the real villain of her own story. I said what I said. She could have had love, legacy, Larry Russell in full man of honor mode. But what does she do? She self-destructs. And I don't even blame her. Because the truth is, Marion doesn't know who she is. She's stuck between wanting to live a traditional life and wanting to be modern, between being a lady of grace and a woman of action. So she freezes, she chooses nothing, and ends up with less than nothing. But the finale, episode 8, it's her final test. Will she go running to Larry when the Russell family is in crisis? Or will she stand back, too proud to admit she made a mistake? I need her to have her Elizabeth Bennet